stuff. And this is the next one. I've actually added this one in a little bit. This is where I think we've also need to then focus on, have you already created a staff training library inside of your office? So whether that's a Google Drive, Shared Drive, OneDrive, whatever it may be, even Trello board, but all of these sessions, make sure you're recording all the sessions that are coming through. And I did this with a group the other day. If you're using outsourced staff, maybe get the staff, the VAs to sit on the webinars, because there's so many, you just can't afford to get into all of them, or for the time. So get the VAs to sit through the webinars and then just bullet point the highlights and save the videos, the recordings in a library for a later stage. If you're not already using this, and I'll speak about Trello a fair bit, Zoom we're familiar with, we're on it now. Loom's another really good one, or try Snagit, and these are the things. So have you got a staff library? Have you got a library already for the training? If it's no, then you're ticking this one. If it's yes, then you're ticking that one. All right, moving on to software. And these are a number of the roles for specifically that VAs could be doing. So if you're not actually outsourcing, this might be administration, it might be reception, it might be the weekend person, weekend reception. But these are the ones that you want to start to look at now, specifically the ones that are listed for online. So I want you to really focus on the properties that you've got online today, because they're the ones that are either going to get you into trouble, or the ones that are, and I'm talking about the trigger points. The trigger point is the next lease. These are the ones that will be leased up next. And if we can go through and make sure that we've got all of the compliance for these properties. So smoke alarms should be pretty easy, because most of the properties will already have smoke alarms. Gas and carbon monoxide, this is new. Of course, carbon monoxide is not required, but I'm using that as one phrase. So electrical safety and pool if applicable. These are the things that you need to be adding into the ingoing condition report. If you're still using a tick and flick form, not using a program, then you'll need to modify your condition report to include these dates, but I'd also be including not only the dates, but also the service provider. So if you're using Smart House for your smoke alarms, and the most recent inspection was in August of 2020, the 15th of August, then you would actually have, it's compliant, Smart House, 15th of August, 2020. If it's non-compliant, you would have Smart House inspection, 15th of August, non-compliant, and inside the special conditions, you need to actually write what it's not compliant of. So that's really important. JV, can you make sure you're adding people in, please, mate, in through to there? And the next one, in through to there. I'm just going to go through. Okay. And the next one's started to record the property compliance status inside of your PM software. Whether it's Property Me, Property Tree, whether it's Console. If it's RP Office, I think you're going to be in a spot of bother, because that's going to be difficult for VAs to be able to help you on that one. So you have to do that manually, or if it's a desktop-based system. So have the VAs go through and start to really look at the compliance. So when we have a look at this process, we would have sent out the compliance register and asking the landlord for approval. Once the landlord's approved it, they've said yes. We need to record that, one, the landlord's approved it, so we can then check that at a later stage. Second to that, we also then need to make sure that we've got it recorded for when the compliance was done, when the work order was done. But more importantly, we don't want to go through this again in 12 months' time. We need to make sure that we're then creating the tasks. So these are VA tasks. Can you create a report for the properties that don't comply, and also the renewals? This might be great now. Let's just say you've got 300 properties, and the 300 properties today you're working on, absolutely fine. But if you go and pick up properties next month, and the month after, and the month after that, then we need to be able to make sure that we can then track the compliance moving forward. The new RTA, obviously we need to start to worry about the moratorium end. So we've got rent increases. So the moratorium ends on Sunday, but the new act starts on Monday. So at best, at the absolute best, you've got, if you went through and said, I think you'd be a little bit crazy if you did this, but if you had already pre-programmed all of your rent increases for April, at best, they won't kick in until June. Now, if you've got that, I'd probably just maybe caution you a little bit on doing that as a blanket across a board, because you might end up with a lot of vacancy. But I'd be going through now and actually really looking, have you gone through and then updated every one of your properties that had a rent increase that was before 29th of March? So I know when I'm doing audits, I go into properties and I'm seeing them, and it's like October last year and it hasn't been brought forward. So all rent reviews, I would be making sure that they're probably for an April, May and June, and then rolling those out. If you've got a large portfolio, you're not going to be doing 500 rent reviews in 1 month. So have you gone and forward dated all of the rent reviews? No. Yes, it's okay. Or yes, in through to there as well.